Hey there, Leo. This is Joy with Joy of the World, here to take an intuitive peek into the energy going on around you. Scribes, welcome back. And if you're new to this channel, click that subscribe button and ring the bell out next to it, and you'll be notified anytime I post new videos. Also, if you find you like the content we provide here at Joy to the World, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and share with those you love. As you can see, I'm in a new environment temporarily. I'm out of town, having a little brain therapy going on, and this is where I found to bring out this read and the spread. So if things wobble or bobble a little bit, or you see me stooping over or whatever, this is what we can do with what we have right now. But I'm excited and thrilled, regardless anyways, to bring this into you. There's some interesting things going on. I'm not even peeking or peering into it. I can just feel the colors and the reflection coming off the page. I've gone ahead and cast the whole spread so that way I'm not having to try and navigate and move about too much during this read, so that we can get right to it. Okay, Leo? But it is obvious you're wanting to return to love. This was coming in upside down out of an entire deck I was shuffling. It's the only one inverted because I don't do inversions in my deck. And it called out to me and said, hey, take a look. Turn me right side up. I'm ready to choose me. I'm ready to step into love and to overflow in my divinity into who I am. And you're really ready to commit to yourself here, Leo. Okay, and so the first card we have coming in is Get to It. These are credit cards, they're handmade ones, and it's saying you're ready to get to taking a good look at yourself. And what do I see coming in under it? It's number 17, Authenticity, the Wolf. So you're having to confront some things about yourself that are unsavory, unlovely, whether you've been the one who has hurt others or whether you're the one who has been hurt. It's being able to stare it down and confront it and come to completion with this energy. Because until you complete it, you will continue to step forward and carry it with you wherever you go. Irregardless of which side of the coin you stand on, it will bring in the duality of that issue over and over again. So either we're the abused or the abuser, the cheater or the cheated upon. Those energies will continue to play themselves over and over and over again ad nauseum until we decide we have graduated from that university and give ourselves permission to move on from it. So that's what you're asking me to tell you here, is to step out from that, give yourself permission to move on and to be your true self, to walk in your authentic energy, and to not have to keep playing out those juxtaposed tugs of war that are wasting of your delicious time here on planet Earth. Okay, so underneath that initiates and brings in what? Just the one. The individual, the you, being able to see who you are and not be confused about what that is. And the neat thing about science experiments in a lab is you have to have a constant in order to begin to prove what you think you know. All right, then other things can come in as the variable. So you've chosen here to stand by yourself as to who you are and to believe beyond belief that it's more than what you've seen and what you know. Thus, the magic of you, Leo. So our next row we have coming in this hard as F times. Kind of things coming at you, getting right up in your grill and in your face, and you're like, oh, really? Am I ready for this? But that is the only thing that I see that is hard here. It's just the beginning, the start. That's it. It's literally, sometimes when there is the unknown and something new coming in, that can be the quandary, the pressure, like the reluctance to get started, is thinking that you haven't taken everything into account. And of course you can't, and you won't, and you haven't. But that urgency is what you should trust and step into, that instinct, that intuition, to be able to move forward. Okay, the next card is like, yes, show them, look at me. And I'm like, what? It's number 39. Literally, this knowing, this mark that you have, this intuition, this intelligence, drawing you in and bringing you forward. It is your future self, kind of not egging you on, but reeling you in a little bit, wooing you along. And they're saying, trust that. Just when it begins to seem hard, just step over your own dead body. Step over that resistance in that thing and be like, okay, the only thing in my way is me. That's what I mean about stepping over your own dead body. I say that to myself all the time. That means the only thing in my way is me and my fear of the unknown, or my reluctance to begin because I don't know if I can count the whole cost, that type of thing. I don't like to put myself out there unless I know I can bring it. Not for fear of failure, but for fear of letting others down, right? Or stepping into a promise that I can't fulfill. But here it's showing that it's full of delight. It's full of deliciousness. It's full of glory. And it is coming your way. And the neat thing that I see in this card, first time I've seen it like that, is there's already a harvest ahead of you. Somewhere you were sowing to this, where your future self says, actually, I've been gathering the tidbits and putting them together and setting them as a banquet for you so that you would have the encouragement and nourishment to keep going forward in this, because the hardest thing really is that fallow ground. When you do the work to sow the first sowing, the harvest isn't quite as great because the soil wasn't quite ready and prepared for it. Interesting. But as we know, the only thing difficult was the beginning, and your future self has already begun it for you. So step in and you're going to have tasty delights right off the bat. Little seeds, little inklings, encouragements, you know, zhuzhes, that type of thing, sussing you along, okay? Next we have number 18 coming in the moon. Right? And this is that your energy will already begin to return to yourself. There's going to be reward, refreshment, restoration, all those good re's coming on in, reconciliation, whatever else. Things that you didn't know that stepping into this would even usher in. You had no idea, no inkling, no whatever, but you've come around a block, around a corner, around a mountain to even get here. And you weren't even aware of what all you have been doing in the meanwhile, because your heart has been in the right place. They just said you just couldn't see it as such. That's all. You couldn't see it as such. You were having to live in this duality. How can we see? This is kind of Picasso-esque, right? Looking in two directions at one time, having to live out that pattern that somewhere didn't feel quite right. And now that your energy is returned to you and you've cut that pattern off, you're able to step into this full connection with yourself and be able to reap the rewards and the benefits. What? Like this. This Two of Pentacles. This one really is plain and simple, like what you see before us. Efforts in or efforts out, okay? So working out, you're going to receive and reap the benefits of the effort that you put in. And that doesn't mean strenuous effort or, you know, in America, we pulled ourselves up by the bootstraps. We've done the hard work. Therefore, we've earned the reward. We are deserving. We are worthy. No, you're already here. Just the fact that you've chosen to give yourself permission is, well, it's the reward in a sense, because permission is everything. You've given yourself the opportunity. You've afforded yourself this delight in this lifetime, which is actually what it's all about. But you're choosing to work it out and keep it real, both above and below, being in continuity with yourself, agreeing to be on the same page with yourself, to fulfill your promises, to keep them, and to know and grow and go. Well, that's some philosophy there, Leo. Okay, so on the next row, what we have coming in here is here and there, skills required. So thankfully, your future self has gone in enough that you could have some fodder, some things to feast and feed on, that reward system built in, that new programming, that, you know, that 8, that infinity, that connection to yourself, in order to strengthen you and to, they say sustain, but I really see it more like establishing, that kind of sustaining, that when you're established, you have the connectivity to be able to handle the change and the nuances that are coming in now that are maybe a little bit unfamiliar to you. You're not going to be thrown because you have some ground to stand on, okay? So under that, we have 2 coming in, secrets, the links. Okay, so this is where the purpose of the connection begins to be exposed and revealed. Not exposed for everyone to see. Some of this, I see it coming in for you in your dream time. You might keep a journal beside your bed, because some of you will be awakened from your dreams, and that's when it's still fresh, and that's a good time to jot it down, because I see that you may not necessarily recall having dreamt at all when you wake up. You might say, a dream woke me up last night, but have no recollection other than that. But they're wanting to disclose to you these secrets in a dreamlike state. For some of you, it could be like drumming meditation, shamanic journeying, that type of thing, but it's where you set yourself in a state where your control is the fact that you give permission for that energy and information to come in, and for yourself to be open and receptive to it, to whatever it is. Like you're the divine person in charge, but other than that, you're in the passenger seat, very receptive, very open to this cosmic connection and the divine awakening that it brings. It really connects your powers together, your poles, which would make total sense. No longer flickering between the poles, no longer being on one side of the issue or the other, but being whole with yourself, being unified and centered. Very interesting, and that you're telling me that creates the perfect channel for you. Take another look here. And it's totally relaxed, yet tenacious at the same time. The strength of the connection is very real. Underneath, we're going to see what it is. Okay, they're telling me to look down. It's both cards, so I'm going to bring both up. You're really ushering in love. Love is that power and that connection that you're bringing in. And for some of you, it is that divine love. You have waited so long, which would make sense about, you know, that Eight of Cups having walked away from other things, the Ace of Cups coming in. But you weren't willing to play out those dynamics in the twosome anymore to continue to be played out that way, because you refused to abuse. You refused to cheat. So therefore, you were cheated upon. You were abused or mistreated against, you know, what you know you were created for. Those energies being thrust upon you was so unsavory and diminishing of your energy and of your value, and it would take so long to recover and come back from, irregardless of the other person. So that's what you had cleared and moved away, so that you could step into this divine connection after you've made, it's the reiteration here, y'all, look, after you've made this divine connection with yourself and your cup is full, because that's what you were really showing me. Why you're like, pull this card out, I need to see it, and turn it right side up. That was you choosing you to fill your own cup, that despite all the proof and evidence that had come about showing you those things and you trying to overcome that in yourself, was you still dealing with that energy, and you're like, no, step off. That energy in and of itself is wrong either side. I'm getting off this seesaw, I'm getting off this ride, and I'm going to face myself down and put an end to this wound, this woundedness, this pattern of woundedness that the world has been operating in, especially so many spiritual people having to live that out as like Chiron, the wounded healer. And Chiron's like, I didn't call you to be that. I played that role so that I could teach you and you could move beyond it and begin to operate in this world in this spirit of love, divine love, powerful love, love that is so firmly rooted, grounded, and connected. And look, oh, they're saying, look, 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 it goes both ways. It goes both ways. That's called relationship. The other stuff, that wasn't relationship. That was struggle. That was, it's beyond, it was contention, competition, those type of things. It had to do with trying to force another, or trying to have control over another, rather than willing to begin with oneself. And all it took was one person on either side of the court, either side of the seesaw, to thrust that energy into action. All right, so you totally walked away from that and you stepped into the magic, because to me, this is this cup being filled and overflowing. It's giving yourself permission, waving that magic wand, which is your authority to be who you are in all your spots, all this magnificence, the bounty of your garden, the fragrance of your blossom, the majesty of your mind, of being able to receive what you work for. And that's the neat thing about this. You're receiving what you know is like 1 + 1 is 2. That's the outcome or the result. But the neat thing about this one is you get that and then some, right? And that's the magic of the moon, the magic of the magician of this strong connection and relationship, is they say, oh, so much more. And that's the beauty of your heart here. See, look how the hearts are really sprinkling and showing up all over the place. And it's above ground and under the ground, fiery passion, but also those watery emotions. It's the connection on many levels. So let's go to the final channel here that you have coming out, Leo. And that is, this is where you wanted to get all along, is what you were telling me. You wanted to begin here, but I'm like, you're telling me to get over here and to get to it. So to get to this, we've come through all this energy channel to get to fertility. Moon, intuition, emerge, resolution, complete now, deliverance. Look at that. This is that reciprocation. This is that divine connection. This is relationship. Relationship is a two-way street. Anything other than that is a one-way street. And as we know, when you hit downtowns, one-way streets are disconcerting and they are difficult to navigate, because you have to go so much further just to get to the same place. And that's that old energy, those old dynamics that you have shed and you have put under your feet. Kudos to you, Leo. So here we have number 17, minimus, commune with the source. So this coming in after that divine connection, the relationship going on there, it's going to let me know that there is a divine connection other than just the earthly realm. We could call it 3D, 5D, 4D. It's beyond that. It's about bringing in the magic with another magic maker. It's something that hasn't existed on earth before that is divine and dynamic for the two of you, because this, yeah, it's a love relationship. All right. And so it's being able to have someone, not only that you discuss that with, but you live that with, and that it becomes practical, something you can touch. And that is a state that our world is moving into, that no longer are people who've done the spiritual work and the earth work going to keep spinning in those ridiculous cycles, calling it worthy, calling it higher, calling it elevated, ascended, that whole thing. Well, not really. You know, that was disillusionment. But you can't know while you're in it. I mean, that's the difficult part. But now that you know better, you do better, right? And you believe better and you expect better, not better based on efforts or merit, but just of being open to there being more than what you've known, and knowing that what you're experiencing didn't feel right, it didn't sit right, it wore on your health, it wore on your mind. It was very costly and expensive, and it was expensive and costly to even this, that these divine relationships, these living examples of truth, of heaven on earth, weren't around for any of us to see, but we are becoming that. Those of us who've had the disillusionment pulled off, the illusion has been removed, and we're now fully connected to a true, pure, real divine source of this beingness of heaven here on earth, this 4D coming on in. And it's not just you, it's not just me, it's many of us. And that's what's stepping in here is the Page of Swords, but you're wanting these two to come in together. This is just you reiterating, and you're like closing off the circle, almost like tying the balloon. Okay, and for those of you who resonate with Dragonfly Spirit, it is right here in front of me, sitting at the top of the tree, position on the very precipice, the very peak of it. So get ready for your peak experience, y'all. And this is letting you know, this tower is doing away with the duality, being single-minded, being able to step forward and devoted to learning this new way, and to not be thrown off of it based on OPP, other people's opinions. OPO. All right. Well, let's roll with that. Not being thrown off by other people's opinions, but being able to stand in your own truth and in your own light, knowing that you are the world, you are this new energy, and that it begins to really sit with your spirit and bring this gentleness and this steadfastness and this stability and confidence and continuity that feels right within you. Yay for you, Leo. I'm excited about that. I mean, feeling it along with you is very magnificent, powerful, grounding, very earthy. I like it. And then you have your golden magic shining in on top of it all. I find it magnificent that you've brought the moon in, you've brought all this kinetic energy in. So divine connection, huh? I welcome that. That's fantastic. I'm happy for you, Leo. I've enjoyed this little journey, this stint, going through this energy session with you. And I'm believing for your best in your heaven here on earth. Welcome, friend. I love you. Talk to you soon.